So listen, I mean, 1 week's notice. I mean, how did this come together? Were you itching to fight, or did they just need you? How did this play out?
A little bit of both. I was itching to fight, and my manager hit me up and he was like, Tisha won't fight you, and we have maybe an offer for Vienna Jandaroba in June. And I was just like, damn, that's so far away. And then he's like, we can gamble because a lot of people are falling out of fights, or we can take the June fight, but then you're off of the short notice list. So I was like, you know what, let me think about it. But yeah, let's gamble. And so we're waiting, and a couple days pass, and I'm like, you know what, I should just take the fight. Like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to fight next. And then I got a call, and they're like, hey, we got a fight for you. So I definitely felt kind of lucky, the luck of the bet or whatever. And knowing that it was next week as opposed to next June, I was definitely more ready to say yes, just because, like, I'd rather get it done now than wait for months and maybe even not have a fight. So yeah, I was stoked when they called me.
Was there any part of you that did? I mean, I know that you've always been the kind to like jump in and take fights, right? But I mean, your stock is kind of elevated lately, even in some setbacks. So was there any part of you that was like, certain people kind of reach a certain level and they go, I can't take short notice fights. I need a full camp. I got a plan. So did that play into your thought process at all?
I mean, it's always going to be there in the back of your head, but I feel like it's just that fear of performance. And for me, the best way to deal with it is just by getting in there over and over. It's like when the water is cold, you just got to jump in it. And the longer I wait, the more anxious I get. So I love jumping right in. Last time I took a fight on a week's notice was in Invicta, but I got a knockout there. So I think when I go in there with just a lightness, then I'm able to perform even better. Like, I'm able to perform like I do one of my best days in the gym. So that's like my goal, is just to make it so that even with a fight camp, I'll be able to go there light and loose and just with the confidence that I have taking a short notice fight like Cowboy. But yeah, that's always going to be there, but it doesn't change. There's always a different type of circumstance that creates stress, and just taking advantage of the opportunities that are given to me has gotten me really far. So it's hard for me to turn that down now.
Yeah. You said that your manager said Tisha won't fight you. We've seen a little bit of the back and forth on social media, obviously. I mean, is that a fight that does interest you, or now the way things have played out, do you feel like just I don't want to mess with this girl anymore?
I think she's a punk. I don't think she wants to fight someone she already beat. She made that mistake when she fought Rose again, and she lost. And she still seems proud of the fact that she beat her, even though it was like 8 years ago. So I think I feel like that ship has sailed. I don't think she's gonna do it again. I think she's just gonna try to ride off the fact that she beat me when I had like 2 fights in the UFC, and that's okay, because every fight that I have, I build my confidence, and I feel like fighters who try to hold on to their ranking and who try to just live off of a win for as long as possible, I feel like they create more stress for themselves, and they let that anxiety build up, that anxiety of performing, like I said. And like, if she doesn't want to fight me, so be it. I was just pissed because there were literally no other options, and that would have been like the fight that I had already prepared for. And I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So I'm happy I got a fight. I'm happy that Yoder isn't a punk. And hopefully after we fight, there'll be something else in the horizon. But right now, everyone is either booked or injured, so it's slim pickings right now, especially for girls in the top 15.
So like you said, you got another rematch instead of the one that you were planning on. Was this a rematch you ever even considered? Did you ever think y'all would cross paths again?
Not really. Like, I hit her up recently to train with her, because she's in Temecula and I'm in San Diego, so it's pretty close. So I definitely didn't think we would fight again. I was happy your camp said yes, because I thought they'd be like, we'll pass. But at the same time, like, she's getting to fight a ranked opponent in me. And, a win over me would be great for her career. So of course she's going to jump at the opportunity. But like, I still think she's a cool girl, and I would like love to train with her afterwards. But first I gotta whoop that ass.
So the training didn't happen. You just talked about it, but you hadn't trained together yet?
Yeah, we talked about it. We did like a deep in fitness session together where you like go underwater and like carry weights and stuff, and she like helped me through it, and I was like, you're so cool, you know. So yeah, she's definitely better at walking underwater with weights than I am. But yeah, I feel like I've grown a lot since we fought, and I think this fight is going to be two completely different fighters. Like I didn't even realize that it was a whole 4 years ago that we fought. I thought it was more recent. So yeah, time just kind of flew by, and yeah, I'm excited for the challenge, and it's kind of nice to go into a fight where you don't have any animosity against the person.
Last thing for me, you talked about like not having pressure and all those things, but is a result here important? I mean, like I said, 2 split decision losses, but I feel like your stock has gone up in those performances. Yeah. So do you feel any like, I got to get the result this time, or do you not think about it that way?
You always feel that way. You know, you always feel that way. But the bottom line is like, in the end, when we're all old, nobody's gonna care about my record. You know, nobody's gonna care about if I beat Ashley once or twice. So I try to use that and not get myself too worked up. And yeah, in the moment, it's gonna suck if anything bad happens. But I know that I'm a better fighter. I know that I can finish her, and that's the goal really for this fight: is to go in there, finish her, and try to use all the tricks that I've been using in the gym, all the stuff that's been successful for me. I've had really good sparring days in the gym, and I just need to throw that out into the cage. And I almost feel like the fact that we were gonna train together will make it feel like a good sparring day in the gym. But yeah, there's definitely pressure. There's always pressure. Don't get me wrong. Like she's coming after my numbers. She wants everything that I have basically. So I have to put her out. I do have to make a statement. I want to hurt her, but just not permanently.
Hey, Angie. You mentioned, how you want to be the female cowboy, and that's become almost a little bit part of your story. And you said something there about how short notice fights help you mentally be more comfortable in the fight. That's something Cowboy himself has also spoken about, how he can struggle mentally if he thinks about it too much. Have you guys actually ever had a conversation with each other about that and about how you're trying to emulate him?
No, but that's a good idea. I should hit him up. Tell him to talk to me about that. I think a lot of fighters deal with that, and I'm not sure if the way I'm dealing with it is healthy, but it works. It's worked recently, and anytime I go into a short notice fight, I've been successful. And it could just be a superstitious thing, but I honestly feel better when I'm just training to get better as opposed to training for a specific person. And I think that's probably when I evolve most, is like I'm working on all these random tricks that I like just because I like them, as opposed to this girl is open to this, so we're gonna work on this for a week. So I think that might be where the lightness comes from. I don't feel pressure to learn something that I maybe don't feel comfortable with. I gravitate towards the techniques that I just feel work or feel natural or I just think look cool. And then when they say, okay, go do this to somebody random, I'm like, all right, time to unleash the beast that I've been working on. So yeah, I think it would be cool to sit down and talk to him about that. I think a lot of fighters struggle with just mentally being present in the octagon and not holding themselves back because they're afraid of what might happen next. I feel like every fighter should talk about that. I mean, like within our team, we talk about it a little bit, but I feel like it should be part of your training. Is to just like everyone circle up and like, hi, I'm Angela, I'm an MMA fighter, like just express what you're going through emotionally. I think that would help a lot of people because whenever I read something that goes into depth about like even a champion's like mentality, you find a lot of differences with the doubts and the insecurities that you have, or similarities. You see a lot of similarities with like the doubts and insecurities that you have, that these people who have made it to where you want to be, they have the same things.
When you're a young up-and-coming fighter and you see someone like Georges St. Pierre admits he was terrified, like absolutely terrified, does that give you sort of solace because you know that you feel the same thing?
Yeah, that's exactly the one I was thinking about. Just the fact that he's like freaking out in the bag, needing to get slapped and like kicked out to make the walk, and then he makes the walk, and you have no idea. He looks like he's living it up, like he's enjoying every moment. So it's really nice to get insight on those behind the scenes moments, those moments that probably most people won't admit to having until they retire. Because you don't want to show weakness in your career. You don't want to show weakness when you're coming up and about to get punched in the face. So yeah, it definitely makes me feel better about my situation. I feel like, okay, like where the level that he was fighting at, or like the amount of pressure is a lot higher for him than it is for me, and we're feeling the same thing. So it's just something that you're gonna have to deal with, especially if you get to that level that you want to be. And I think as a young fighter, you always assume that it'll go away, or like you'll fight so much that you'll never feel it again. And it's almost the opposite. Like the higher you climb, the more afraid you are of falling, or losing your streak, or just losing your fans. And just the fact that everyone's going through the same thing makes you feel a little better about it.
You're in a rematch. Does that compound the annoyance you have with Tisha that she wouldn't take a rematch?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, I took a fight that was available, and it's a rematch, and I definitely feel confident because of the way that the last fight went, and it does annoy me. It makes me think, if she really felt the way she says she feels, like that confidence that she's exuding in her clapbacks or whatever, then she'd fight me. Then she'd sign the contract and fight me, because she knew that she would get another win, she'd get money in the bank, and she'd be one step closer to fighting for the title. So yeah, if that was her ultimate goal, to fight ranked opponents and get a title shot, then fighting me would have been a great option. But yeah, she's lying. Bitch scared.
And last thing from me, John mentioned, and I would agree, that your stock has gone up despite the results recently. Do you feel that's the case, and has even the UFC sort of made you feel like you're a bigger deal these days?
Yeah, I think I'm getting up there. I still feel like I'm not really mainstream yet, so people can still get in on the ground floor before Angela Hill is like a really big deal. But I think I'm creeping up there, and I think the best way to get those fans is to get like emphatic wins, to get finishes, and that's something that is hard to do, but it's possible. And it is annoying hearing, oh, you got to finish your fights, that's the only way to make sure you win, but it's true. So that's what I've been trying to do, just work on getting closer to finish your fights. And the more dominant you are, the more likely you'll win a decision if they survive your dominant domination. So that's the ultimate goal, is just to dominate to the point where they either quit or the judges have no choice but to score it for me.
It's a weird question, I guess, to ask when you just talked about confidence issues, but when you have a win over somebody, you step in the cage with them, you look across, you're like, oh, I already beat this girl. Like, I got this. Like, is there a danger of getting too overconfident when you step in there?
Definitely. I think that's why people don't usually take rematches against someone they beat already. They're like, I beat you already. No, I don't want to do that again. Like, the stress is always the same, no matter whether you beat them, no matter if you think they're a scrub. I'm sure like Tisha getting a last minute replacement, I'm sure she was terrified that this girl who has no experience might beat her, so there's always that fear, no matter how much more confident, or no matter how confident you are in the fact that you're going to beat this person or you're a better fighter. So yeah, I always feel that every fight is an exercise in overcoming it, and I just have to remind myself like how good I am. I'll watch a couple of my last fights, and I'm like, damn, I look good. Like why should I even doubt myself? I look good in there. So just knowing that I'm putting on good performances, I look technical, I look sharp, I look like I'm hitting hard, knowing that I'm fast and I'm dangerous and all those things, that helps me overcome that confidence thing. But yeah, especially like getting the call to fight Yoder, I'm like, yeah, let's do it, and then you think about it in it for a few minutes, and you're like, oh wait, but what if, so there's always that little like negativeness in your mind. But I've been getting better at blocking it out, or just addressing it and being able to reassure myself like, yeah, you're a beast, like you have nothing to worry about.
When you've had a couple of decisions go against you, like you have, do you think in the cage like, what can I do here to impress a judge instead of what can I do to beat her? Like, is there a danger of thinking that way?
I don't know. Like I think the things that I've thought about have been kind of harmless. Like one thing one of my coaches said to me was, you complain about you complain about like them yelling, and maybe that's like why the judges respect their strikes more than yours, because they're going ha 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 when they fight, but you do the same thing but not when you fight, but when you're hitting the bag, when you're exhausted but you're still trying to get that last like bit of energy out, you're yelling too. So take that version of yourself and put it in the fight. And I think a lot of times I do hold back a little bit just because I'm not like in that mode where I have no energy left, but I'm just like, fuck it, let's go. Like I feel like that's the athlete that I have to be in there to get the finishes. So I have been working on enunciating while I strike, like getting that version of myself out there where I'm growling, where I'm angry, where I'm like tired, but I'm still giving it my all, still trying to punch through the bag. And that's how I want to approach this fight, especially if she gets hurt, I want to go in there and just like put it on her.
Will you also ask for a rematch of the underwater weight carrying? Will you go up against her again?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. It's too scary. It's really impressive being able to do that, but you know how sometimes you do a sport and you're like, oh, that's cool, but I don't think it's for me. I don't think underwater fitness is for me. But it's really cool. I think everyone should try it at least once.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Afternoon, Angela. Thanks for taking the time to be with me here.
Hey.
Much respect and props for that Watterson fight. That was absolute madness for 25 minutes.
Thank you.
A classic, you bet. Is it kind of like a little relief to go from a 25-minute war to like, okay, 15-minute rematch, we're going down a gear, or you downshift?
Yeah, just because I didn't get time to really push the cardio for this. Like I found out a few days ago I was fighting. But if anything, that fight gives me confidence because I was preparing for a 3-round fight. And I was like doing my regular routine or whatever. And then like that Saturday, they were like, hey, you want to do 5 rounds? You guys are the main event. And I'm like, oh. Okay. And then I was able to push the pace in the last 2 rounds as well. So I definitely felt good about my cardio and the amount that I am able to exert in a fight. So going down to 3 rounds it almost feels like a vacation, you know. But I'm definitely happy for the 3 rounds. I probably wouldn't have wanted 5 rounds this time just because I only had a week to prepare. But I have been training and my cardio's felt good in training. So I feel like at any time, if I'm training at least like 5 days a week, then I'm ready for a 3-round fight at any point in time. So yeah, I feel confident in that, and yeah, it's nice to only have to be in there for 3 rounds.
Oh, that's great, because you have fighters like Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather that are known as gym rats. So I'm assuming you stay in the gym, you stay ready. You don't have to get ready, you stay ready.
Yeah, exactly. But the difference between like fight camp me versus regular me is that there just isn't that intensity, and the intensity is where you like really get your cardio pushed. Then I'm running more, I'm making sure that I don't skip a class, making sure that I'm not eating like shit, you know. I'm just more of a machine when I'm in fight camp. So that's the only thing that sucks about short notice, is that if I'm not training hard, which sometimes I'm training hard, sometimes I'm more focused on learning, you do worry about whether you can push it or not. But I think after that 5-round fight, I feel like no matter what I'm doing, I know I can push it.
All right. Thinking lastly for me, everything seems to be just firing on all cylinders. People are avoiding you like you're one of the Diaz brothers. Off of losses, we'll say you're a Diaz sister. Social media game, people are retweeting, following you. You seem like you really put it all together and developed your personality. What's the key? What's been the secret lately to the evolution of your fight game?
Man, I don't know. I strung those 3 wins together, and I think people started paying attention. And yeah, since then it's just been uphill. Or wait, no, but it's just been up from then. So yeah, I think people love an underdog, and I think people love to I don't know, just root for somebody who seems like someone you can have a beer with. And I feel like I'm both of those things. This is gonna be the first fight in my last how many, like 6 fights that I'm walking in first. Like, and that's crazy, you know, because it's not like I've been losing them all. So it's pretty interesting getting back to this side where, okay, I still have to prove myself, but now I'm the person who's the favorite. Like that's like rare for me. So it's pretty cool, and I'm starting to see that separation from where I was, like, say 4 years ago when I fought Yoder to where I am now. Like, there's a separation, and people respect the fact that I am an elite fighter. I am an elite strawweight. I'm one of the top 15 deservingly. And you know, my last 2 opponents think I should be in top 10 or top 5. So there you go. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And I wish that on paper it said the same as how I feel, but I know that that's just gonna force me to do better and force me to perform better. And, you know, I'm only going up. Like, every performance, I only get better, and that's always a big confidence boost for me.
Excellent. Thank you, and enjoy being in that red corner.
Thanks.